Hey everyone, it's Kristen and thanks for joining me again today. Have you ever had trouble making a decision in your life? Perhaps you had 2 or 3 different options available to you, but you weren't sure which one to choose or which one was going to be the right decision for you. Perhaps one of the options was more of a logical choice and the other option felt better or was more of a gut feel or was going to be more fulfilling. Well, how do you choose? I had this dilemma myself recently. I had to choose whether to go with a logical choice that was extending my corporate career where I had done well and earned a good living and had been happy up until a certain point in time, or make more of the gut feel choice and go off and do something completely different and follow my passion. That was a tough choice. So how did I go about choosing it and how can you go about choosing it? Well, I wanted to share with you some inspiration from Simon Sinek. If you haven't seen his work, have a look at his book, Start With Why, or check out his YouTube and TED Talks. They're amazing. So I'd like to use Simon's Golden Circle as the basis of what I'm going to talk through, but then I'll add a little bit of my own flavor to it and I'd love to share that with you now. So let's get into it. So when you're deciding what you're going to do, there's 3 aspects to think about, and that's why do you want to do what you want to do, how are you going to do it, and what are the things that you want. Simple, right? Why is it important to you? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? And then what is it that you want to have at the end of it, at the outputs? I'd like to kind of link this to another 3 words, and that is be. Who do we need to be? What do we need to do? And what do we want to have? In my mind, these are the same things and they're linked. So I'll just draw some arrows here. And the way I like to think about it is, what is our purpose or our mission? What is going to give us fulfillment? And what are the things that we're going to do? So the activities or the actions or the tasks. And then what are we going to have? What are the things that we want? So what are the things, results, outcomes? There's a few different ways you can look at this. You can go this way, or start from the middle and work your way out. And I think you get different outcomes depending on how you go about doing it. It depends on, are you clear on what you want to have? Are you clear on what you love doing? Or are you clear on your mission? For me, my experience was that I wasn't clear on what my purpose was or what my mission was. I was doing my job and I thought I liked the activities and the actions and the tasks that I was doing, but sometimes when you're doing things and your heart's not in it, it's because it's not aligned to your why. And so there's an activity that you can do using this process to understand what your why is. And then if you understand what your why is, then it gives you clarity on what are the things that you can do that are going to be aligned to that, and that will drive better results because you're going to be fully aligned on the 3 things. Many people, and including myself, have been misaligned in these things, and therefore that can drives results that are less than desirable, or you're not going to be happy or fulfilled in the process. So how did I go about doing it? I started here with how, and I started with what are the things that I love doing, and I just made a list. And the things that I love doing were things like solving problems, helping people, sharing ideas. And I realized I wrote these things in the context of my corporate job and my corporate career. And these were the things that I used to do at work. But I realized that they also apply outside of work, and perhaps that's why I'm drawn to doing something different. But in fact, it is the similar types of activities. The other thing I had here was, along with sharing ideas, was inspiring people. And when you make your list, I think you'll find that one of the items that you write down is more emotional than the others. And that more emotional one is kind of linked to your why. So another way you can think about this one here is, what is the emotional state that you want to be? Like for me, it was I wanted to be fulfilled, I wanted to be inspired myself, I wanted to be happy, I wanted to have joy. If we focus on the state that we want to be, it's going to drive much better results in the things that we do, and that's going to help drive the results that we want to have. If you think about that for a second, if you're in an emotional state of being unhappy or depressed or angry or any negative emotion, that's going to make it a lot harder to do activities and drive results to get the things and results that you want to have in your life. So I'd like to suggest that if we start with the why and your mission and purpose and find that and clarify that, we can then adjust the activities. And when I say adjust the activities, it means choose between the different options that you have in front of you, which one is more aligned to your why. It's going to help a lot, I think. The other thing, just while I'm talking about that, is that many people in their lives go ahead and do as many things as they can. They take on all of these extra activities. They do more things so they can have more things so that they can be happy. But I'm going to suggest that that's not going to drive happiness, because if your happiness is driven by having to take on all of these things to get these things here, what happens if something changes here, or if some of these things go away? It means that your happiness is at the control of the things that happen here. What I'd like to suggest is that if we're much clearer on what we want to be in our why, we can kind of get into the emotional state internally on a daily basis, and being in that happy place is going to drive better. Being in the happy place is going to drive the things that we do naturally. It's not going to be an effort, and that's going to drive the results that we want. I mean, if you do something that you love doing, then it's almost not like work, right? I'm sure someone famous has quoted that. I can't remember who, but I know you know that already. So, step 1, write down the things that you love doing. Step 2 is to put it into the form of a why statement. And the way that I did that was I wrote down, it's to something so that something. Nice and short and sweet. So I've got an example on the next page which I'll share with you in a minute, but it could be to solve people's problems so that they can be more happy. It's not a very good example, but it gives you the flavor of it. Put it into a simple sentence like that, keep it as short as possible, but it should be nice and emotional, like it should resonate inside. Then step 3 is make sure you've got a list of the things that you want in your life. Like, what are the goals, the outcomes that you want? I mean, are you clear on them? I've done a couple of videos on how to set goals and how to achieve them. And go and have a look at those if you haven't seen them already. But many people, I'm just checking, can you see that, goals? I hope so. It says goals here. And many people don't have them, or maybe they have them set at work, but they don't have them set in their own life. So go and look at my other video on how to set goals and achieve them. But make sure you're clear on them. And then the process is to understand 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, and get some alignments in your life. And so if you understand these 3 things, it's going to help so much with the direction of your life and things that you're going to do on a daily basis. Let me share with you what I've done previously. Here's one I prepared earlier. My why is to share ideas and tools that inspire so that people can solve their own problems and move forward. And I want to be authentically me, rather than being, someone fitting into a mold and doing this job because I have this job description and I went to uni and did this degree, so I do those types of things. I wanted to kind of come out of my shell and just be me, which I'm being now. And then the second part was, well, how am I going to be authentically me, and how am I going to share the ideas and tools that inspire? And I've written down the things that I love to do, and that is communicate ideas, create some coaching programs, share the knowledge and tools that I have, and facilitate workshops. And what is it that I want to achieve having done these things here is I want to have happy clients, I want to have a growing and profitable business, and I want to have a trusted and respected brand. So there you have it. There's 3 steps on how I chose what I was going to do next, and maybe it can help you make your next big decision as well. Does that resonate with you? I'd love to hear your feedback. It'd be great if you could comment on the video below, let me know your thoughts or how it's gone for you. And until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.